Welcome back once again to your YouTube channel E&C Edumate. Now we are going for the last paragraph of the story, his first flight. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly, and commented himself slowly. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him, with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and called amusedly. Called means made a sound with this one. Then shrieking is a sound produced, making a high-pitched, piercing cry. That is shrieking. Then shrilly is loudly and forcefully. Shrilly, shrilly, shrilly. Shrilly is loudly and forcefully. Loudly and forcefully. And forcefully. Shrilly, loudly and forcefully. Then ridges, long, narrow hilltop. Ridges, then cawed utter a caw sound of the bird. Now let us go for the summary of that paragraph. Once he overcame his fear, young seagull became confident. He was out of his fear. He forgot that he was once afraid of it. He did all those things he once feared. He flew straight, means flew straight. He flew straight over the sea and could see the greenery and the mountains beneath him. He screamed out of joy. He enjoyed very much as he enjoyed the victory. That means he could fly very successfully. Then his parents, let us see the next lines of the story. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. They were beckoning, using some gesticulations and encouraging him, beckoning to him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into the sea. Then he screamed with the fright and attempted to rise again from the sea, flapping his wings. But he was tired and weak with the hunger, and he could not rise. Exhausted, completely tired by the strange exercise, his feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched the water. It means water, and he sank no farther. He did not sink after that. He was floating on it, on the water, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish to him. He had made his first flight after much hard work and trial. So, beckoning is the word that shows gesture. Beckoning. Beckoning. Gesture. Beckoning is a gesture. That is encouraging with the gestures. So when the young seagull landed, his family landed along with him as a gesture that they were proud of the young seeker. They were screaming and shouting in excitement in their high-pitched voices. He then went into the sea, where at first he got scared and thus panicked. He tried escaping but got tired and weak because of hunger. Thus, when he calmed down, he started floating in the sea. He was once afraid of floating or skimming the waves and floating on the water. He was once afraid of. His family was celebrating in excitement and offered him some dogfish as an encouragement. Finally, he had overcome his fear and he made his first flight. That is what here. So now we are going for a think and write, or think and respond is all. So let us see the first question. Think and respond is that one. First one, what is the theme of the story? What is the theme of the story? Theme of the story. Theme of the story. So while I was explaining the textbook, the theme I told her, while I was presenting the author, Yamo Flaherty's. So building up a nature of independence. Theme, building up the attitude of self-esteem, self-reliance, self-esteem, self-reliance, independent attitude. So the listeners, what you have to do is, you have to inculcate, or you have to grow up or build up or cultivate the nature or attitude of independence. You should be independent of yourself. Try to keep up the nature or attitude of self-reliance and self-esteem. We should be proud of our existence. That is what the theme of the story. Think about in the story, the young seeker was depending upon the parents to get food. Depending upon the parents to have a shelter and support. But parents were not trying to support the young seeker. They were trying to make the young seeker be dependent upon his skill and efficiency. That is what here we come to know about. So the theme is, since the learners, you listen to the class, you should, to some extent, you must depend upon your parents. After that, you try to earn your living, make a good job, earn more salaries, more money, and build up your own family and educate yourself. That is the way of getting self-reliance and self-esteem. Okay, that is really the theme of the story. Through a bird story, through the bird's story, our writer is giving a wonderful theme that we should not depend upon our parents for food, for money. Then how can you be independent? So this is building up the skill of this one, attitude of self-esteem and self-reliance, independent nature, and self-confidence, build up a self-confidence. I can, I will learn, I will study, I will score more marks. That kind of attitude should be built up while you read the story, while you study the story, and while you go for writing examination, general questions will be asked. Not any points, or not any questions from the textbook itself. These are questions and activities mainly making you very perfect in the art of learning. Now let us go for the second question. What is the real crisis? Theme of the story. Real problem. Crisis means real problem. Crisis. Real problem of the young seeker. Real problem. Problem of the young seeker. Young seeker. What is the real crisis or the problem faced by the young seeker? The young seeker was diffident. Diffident is the first one. Then fear. Diffident and fear of the young seeker. First it was afraid to fly. It did not have a confidence that whether the young seeker's wings will support him or the wings will enable him to fly. That was the problem. That is what really the problem of this one. That is the real crisis faced by. And it does not want to be independent. It wanted to be dependent upon his parents. Okay. That is what? Three brothers including the young seeker and two other brothers and one sister. These are the members of the family. But this young seeker does not want to be independent. It always wanted to be dependent. So now let us see what is the third point. The impression of the what? Your impression of the reaction of the parents. Your impression of the reaction of the parents. Reaction of the parents. That is a very important thing. Reaction of the parents. You have a see in the young seeker's parents were not supporting directly. They were using tactics, tricks, many tricks they were trying to apply to make the young seeker. So, siblings, they were simply enticing the young seagull by flying and also skimming the waves, catching the fish and eating. Siblings do not come near to the young seagull and helping. They were simply enjoying the scenery around. And the parents, the father was not at all mindful of this young seagull. Only the mother, a little bit notice is given to the young seeker. And also trying to encourage indirectly and is trying to make the young seagull fly independently. That was a very good reaction. We accept that reaction of the parents, because if parents would have helped the young seagull directly, he would not have tried by himself to fly. He will be always living in dependency. He will never become independent, and every time the parents will have to support the young seeker, then how can live independently? So the reaction shown by the parents is very nice to make the young seeker be independent. That is all. So these are the important questions, but these direct questions will never be coming for the examination. So these points will make you or enable you to attempt your examination very confidently. Building up a confidence is a very important one. Okay, building up a confidence is a very important one. That is what here we come to know. Then the next class, I will be coming with more and more revelations. This, please go and read or 5 times the chapter and analyze the indicating questions or inspiring questions. Reflect over it, and you will be achieving more. And wish you all the best. Please don't forget to subscribe it. We will meet in the next time. Thank you. Wish you all the best.